Yeah.
Welcome to part 2 of my morning. For some of you all, it's the first time that I've seen you today. If you would go ahead and log into moodle.snu.edu. Now, let me give you, hopefully you all have read my emails that have been going out, but I don't want to assume anything. So let me give you just a bit of background. We, as you all know, in the fall, suffered tremendously. A lot of downtime, offline, dragging horribly at peak times. If you were in a 9, 10, or 11 o'clock class or at 6, you could pretty much count on going at about 0.1 mile an hour. It was so slow. And so we tried some different things with our current hosting company, didn't work. So we switched companies. And we actually we're going to gain some pretty cool benefits out of it, as well as the fact that we have a guaranteed 99.9% uptime, and they are completely, they don't, what was it called? They were like funneling us. If we had X amount of users online, like if we had 500 users online, they would slow our, they would slow our speed down. So we can have all 2,500 of our users on at the same time, and we should not see any performance difference. And Jody and I have noticed, just even working on this site, how fast it is compared to the other one. So there are some speed differences. All right. So we're switching users. That's why, switching host companies. And we switched to them July 21st. That's why we currently are using the Moodle URL rather than the My Courses URL. Remote Learner owns the My Courses URL until July 21st. After July 21st, both URLs will go to this page. So when students come back in August, they can do Moodle or My Courses. It won't matter. It'll take them to the same place. I hope you all have noticed that we branded. This is what our new website is going to look like. So we thought we'll go ahead and go for it on our site. So we have some consistency there. And frankly, we wanted it to look a little bit more professional for our students, especially when we were seeing what some other universities had. We had a little LMS envy. One of the cool things is, especially for students who don't have very many courses, if they hover over this My Courses link right here, it'll show a list of their classes. Now, for those of you like Howard that are enrolled in 40 classes, it's going to be extensive. It won't be really great for you.
Enroll me in them. I don't understand.
I know, and I don't,
Yeah, you're just
all the
lucky.
time, and I say, please stop it.
Well, you can take yourself out.
Right.
Someday I'll show you. Now would not be a good time for you.
Where do you hover again?
Over this, see this white My Courses link right here? So hover over that, and then we've added some SNU links right here. We've added a link to the library, as well as a link to My SNU.
Oh, good.
If you think of something else that you would like us to add, send it. We'll talk about it in our little committee, and we'll be happy to do that. We're just trying to make it more user-friendly for our students, so they don't have to worry about, well, do I have to type that address in or something? In fact, as I'm saying that, I'm thinking maybe a link to our email login might not be a bad idea either.
Yeah.
So let me make a note about that. Thank you
I
all
already
for
have a
jogging my memory on that. Okay. So let me go back to the front page here. If you just, this huge thing right here is a link. So it should take you, as I'm saying that, it's doing nothing for me. It should take me back to my moodle.snu page. But it's not working right now, so we won't worry about it. We'll just pretend like that never happened. All right.
That's a 0.1.
Yeah, deduction. So you should see your list of courses at the top, and then scrolling all the way down, you can see the course categories. I want to remind you guys of a couple things. First, let me go back to my story. July 21st, we lose access to mycourses.snu.edu. So if you have any student resources on there that you want to retain, Turnitin work samples, forum posts that you want to copy and paste, whatever, you need to pull those off of there as soon as you can, because I don't want a bunch of 11th hour, I don't know what that saying is, but last minute people emailing me say, how do I get all my Turnitin samples on? And we're losing the site the next day. So be sure that you're working on that now. The other thing is they made us a site copy. So if you heard Steve Green asking me before some of y'all came in, he was saying, well, what if my course was already there? Well, then your course is still here. Unless you change something after April 11th, your course is here as it already was. You don't have to worry about materials. There are no students in it. You just can reset it to clear out, make sure the gradebook doesn't do any gradebook ghosting. You know, sometimes how you re-enroll a student and their grades pop up. Some of y'all have had that problem. So if you'll do a manual reset, your course is ready to go for next semester.
Actually, that feature came in handy once because I had a student that it was a rare case where the student dropped and then they added it back in like 2 or 3 weeks. And
Yes.
I had the grades to come back.
Yeah, so that helped you out.
Yeah.
Tim actually had his, I'm pointing at you, Rhonda, like you're going to know this, but it was the craziest thing. Tim had a student in his class one time who somehow unenrolled herself. We're still not sure how she was capable of doing that. But when she re-enrolled, when he was able to re-enroll her, then the grades popped back in. But to do a reset on a course, if you're just in a course, there's a video for this. But just for those of you who can figure it out, I'll just show you where the link is. You scroll down to your settings, course administration, and you click on reset. It's right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
she
you'll be
does
able
have
to
a
walk
really
your.
good video explain. I have to watch it every semester because I forget.
I use it too. Yeah.
You'll be able to walk yourself through
Can
it.
I ask one other thing?
Yeah, at any point, if you have questions, I should have told you guys. If you have questions, just say, hey, Michelle.
Is there any way to back up forum posts other than individually copy paste?
No, there's no way to export them, and I've added that as a we would love to have it kind of thing.
All right, thought that was the answer. I was hoping I was wrong though.
No, I sure
know
wish-
I should be wrong. That
Explain to
would
me
be wrong.
why you would want to do that. I'm curious.
Well, I've
You want
had
me
some
to
really
say
good
one?
ones sometimes that I
Oh,
would
okay.
like to say
Like
for
to
students.
say
Well,
Yeah,
maybe
as
use
like
as an
samples
example.
of-
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
What about
So-
backing up that Turnitin, those Turnitin resources? Is there a way to do that without doing each one at a time?
There's without doing each, yes. In fact, I sent out an email with a link, a little image on that. Let me see if I can show you real quickly. Of course, Rhonda, you can talk while I'm answering. Did you
No,
have
that's
a
fine.
question
Do
while I'm
hers
answering
first.
queries?
That's fine.
Okay, so if you have a course, this would be on your My Courses page, mycourses.snu.edu. If you need to export, go to, I'm looking to see if I have any Turnitin on here. Go to your Turnitin assignment. I love that they're the little white and red, so you can very easily tell which one it is. Export, I don't have any submissions on here, but there would be an export option right there. This is on my
One of them
summary.
says PDF.
Huh?
And
Yes.
There's 3 different things. One of them says PDF, and if you click on it, you get all of them there as a PDF.
And it does a zip for you. You can choose to put it wherever you want on your computer.
Have you
So-
had problems with, as I've been doing this for assessment,
Yes, Queen Assessment.
I have downloaded tons. I go in and sometimes I click that right there
Uh-huh.
and it'll come up and say, I do not have access.
Uh-huh.
Or this, it says error or something.
But
you
then
don't
an
have access.
API error, but if you go back out and come back in, does it
Yeah.
work okay?
But I have to do that every time, and even classes that, I mean, I'm on, Bob's classes, others' classes.
That's interesting. I've had it
Yeah.
happen once or twice, but never anything consistent.
Pretty consistent. Sometimes if I go in and actually pull up a paper, an
Mhm.
individual paper,
Mm-hmm.
and then go back out and then do it.
What browser are you using? Chrome or Firefox?
Firefox.
We may need to look at that, because
I was using
Firefox.
Firefox, and it did that there last week, just like on half of them. not
But then
all
if
of
you
them.
went back out, it worked okay.
Yeah, so I do have to go back
Yeah.
out, but I didn't know if everybody else was having that.
No, just you
and
two.
just keep doing it.
Yes, Rhonda.
Well, first of all, let me say, I'm glad I'm not the only one that has weird things Michelle's never seen happen before. 'cause it
Rhonda,
seems
we
like
don't even want to talk about
every
your
time I
weird
call
thing.
her, I'm surprised she answers the phone anymore, honestly. But anyway, she's always like, I've never heard of that before.
You have some crazy
I've had
stuff.
some weird stuff happen. Okay, anyway, so when you say backing up anything that we've added or changed around
Uh-huh.
since April 11th,
I can send you a video.
Okay.
If you've added quite a bit of content since April 11th, like if you built out the rest of your course,
like by that you mean links to resources,
assignments, everything but Turnitin, because Turnitin
Because
we have to
Turnitin you have to
recreate.
recreate anyway. See, my husband and I were having this debate
Yeah.
this morning because he's like, I have to go through and back all this stuff up, and I'm like, you have to redo that every semester anyway. But
Just the Turnitin.
that's only Turnitin that you have to redo.
Yeah, Turnitin's the only one you have to
So the
recreate.
quizzes, assuming you didn't add them after April 11th,
Are already over here.
will go over.
Yeah, they're already
And
here.
then, oh, okay, and then
Yeah.
you just clean the students out and put new
Mhm.
ones in.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So double check. I mean,
Alright,
I would go, most of you have a manageable number of courses. It may take you a little while, but go into your courses, see if you're missing any material, And then if it's just a couple of links and assignments, you can manually add that. If it's a lot of content, if it's like another whole month of content, contact me and we can work out, or you don't have a clue what you added. Contact me and we can work out a way to move your course over a fresh copy of it. Okay,
Can I ask a question?
you sure can.
If I go into my old class and I look at the logs for myself,
You should be
for
able to
activities, I should be able to look at
You
each
should.
and see what I did.
You're a
right?
scientist though. See, most people don't think about going back and looking at reports.
That's what I would do.
I'm not even laughing at you. Nick, maybe Carrie would think about going and looking back at a report. None of the rest of us were thinking about going and looking back at it. Carrie wasn't either. Woo! Just Sean and Nick, it's the math part, right?
I assume
Email
that's
Michelle.
I haven't kept up with
Well, that's
what
how
I've
I
done,
check
so
to
I
see
have to-
too, how many students have accessed it for certain
And
assignments.
let me just really quickly, this wasn't on my list, but this is something that I showed the Getting Started Moodle people. So I'm glad you guys brought this up. If you've never accessed this, you are doing yourself a disservice. Under your course, in this left-hand block, there's a reports link, and you can choose which kind of report you want to view, but I usually just do logs. And then if you look at the logs, you can choose all participants or particular participants, every day or a day, a specific day. And then you can select all activities or a specific activity. And then you get a report that you can sort through and see who's done what. And this is really important. If the particular student contacts you or is not doing well in the course, then you may want to pull up all days, click on that student. You can also get to this from their profile page, but this is a great way to flip between students. And you can see, oh, well, Tulsa student, is Ann still on? Adobe Connect? Okay, I was going to say, Ann or Tulsa people, don't be mad. This is a fake student. You can see Tulsa student didn't even look at our course yet.
Yeah.
So that would be why Tulsa student is struggling.
Yep.
So, but I could have just as
Is there
easily
like a way
said
to
English
found
student.
that in the first place, the
I sure
reports?
can.
I can only do it from like inside an individual activity.
Okay, so when you're on your course, this is my navigation block, the big long one that's at the top of the left. Here's your
okay, I
course,
think I found it.
participants, and reports.
Got it. As you were saying at the end of the other one, and I've done this.
You've seen it? Yeah.
It's great for when students come to you and say, I tried to turn that quiz in and it
Yeah.
didn't go in.
Yeah.
And then
First
you
thing
look
you
at,
do.
the first thing you do is see were they even logged in at the time, and
Yes.
often they were not. So you can say,
Yeah.
sorry, I know you were online.
They were just confused. They were dreaming it, is what I
That's
say,
right,
because
yeah.
they'd never lied. They were sleeping. They were sure they took the quiz.
Nightmare.
Yeah, they had a nightmare. That's right. Okay, so for those of you who have courses already, I need to explain something. When we switch to Moodle Rooms, this is our new hosting company, we pay per user. And those users are counted based upon active courses. So what that means is if I'm enrolled in everyone on this side of the room's class, I'm only counted once. Okay, so it's fine for me to be in all of their open courses. That's not a problem. But if I graduated in May, and I'm still in all of their courses because nobody's closed the eye, I'm still counted toward that 2,500. If everyone but Koshi closes the eye, I'm still counted because he hasn't closed the eye on his course yet. So give your students a little bit of time to check their grades at the end of the semester, after grades are submitted. And then even if you reset the course, that's great because it deletes them out anyway. But if you want to keep that content in there for a little while, just make the course unavailable to students.
Yeah.
Go to course settings, click on edit settings, and then you'll scroll down. This course is not available to students. That is very important to do. We are depending on you all to manage this. So this should mean, yes, sir.
Professional studies though.
They're doing it differently.
Okay.
Yes, professional studies has a set number of students, and the way that they're managing it is they want their courses open to their students for their entire program. So if you adjunct in a professional studies program, they want it open, like if a student's in mod 12, they want them to be able to see mod 1, or mod, you teach like 5 or 6, I think. So they're only being counted once anyway, so it's okay to have all of those open. For traditional students, though, yours are the students that I get the emails from come about October saying I'm still enrolled in my classes from fall 11.
Mhm.
So it's really important that you guys manage that.
So, okay,
Yes, ma'am.
if we reset the course and take all the students out, that's,
That's okay.
okay.
Let me tell you what risk you run. Let's say Bible is lit. You're
Yeah.
not teaching that course for probably another 2 years, right? Because it's on like a 2-year rotation. That course is going to show up as a live link in English under literature, the subcategory. There are students who click around looking for their classes. And if you don't have that course closed, or you don't have it yet, like all enrollment canceled, they'll enroll themselves in your
Oh, I
course.
see what you're saying. So
It's just
even if we
better.
take students out, we still turn it off so they can't
Yes,
enroll
so they
themselves.
can't enroll themselves. It's just easier that way. In my opinion, it's easier that way.
But it doesn't hurt however many courses we have if it's not available to students, right? So we
That's
can keep our
exactly right.
classes that we're not gonna keep for 2 years.
Yes, I don't want you to delete those. The one thing that I don't want us to do though is if I teach Comp 1 every semester, but I only have one section, I should only have one Comp 1 online.
Right.
But if I teach Comp 1 and then I'm not going to teach it for another couple of years, I'm going to leave that Comp 1 up there because I don't want to have to recreate everything I just did. I just want to edit it. We just want you to reset and recycle. We're being green on Moodle. Okay.
So, I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am. No, you're fine.
I'm looking at our McNair program
Mm-hmm.
and you said that everything copied over, but none of the students came over. Like
All of the students are out of the system right now.
Well, yes.
oh,
I thought I sent an email about
you
that,
may
but I
have
might not.
not read the whole thing. Sorry.
You must be the only person on campus.
Yeah.
Shocker,
Well, let's
Kim.
have to take a quiz over that.
So let me add back what Kim's saying. When we moved our site over, we can only have 2,500 users. That's how much we're paying for. That includes faculty, that includes fake logins, 25 active user accounts. I got us down from 10,000 to 6,000. When we moved over, we had over 5,000 accounts. So what Jeffrey did was everyone who wasn't faculty or didn't have course creator rights, he deleted them out of the system. Normally, you wouldn't have to reset your course, but just in case, because some people will have gradebook ghosting, that's why I'm encouraging you guys to reset them anyway. He is working on getting all the students back in the system for us. He's already got, like, there's a nursing program and there's a grad, like, he has several of the professional studies groups already back in there because their courses are going to start running on here in a couple weeks. So he's getting everyone over for us. It's just taking a little bit of time. And the other thing that I will tell you all is if you see him, do not ask him to do anything for you because he is working for us on getting auto enroll working again where we can put in that course ID number.
Yeah.
So if you see him,
Nice.
just
That'd be so
smile at him, but don't ask him to do anything
Give him
extra for you.
chocolates and then
Well,
back
he
away.
told us he didn't want
Whatever he
chocolate or
likes.
Dr. Pepper anymore. He told us he quit, so we're not sure what to do for him now. We guess he just wants straight cash. We're not sure. We don't know.
Gift cards.
Yeah, he wouldn't tell us. Okay, any questions before I show you a couple of the changes?
Just on the,
Yes, ma'am.
on the old system.
On my
you
courses?
did-
Uh-huh.
Yeah, on the old my courses.
Yep.
You did backup, like I would do backup of, class 37.
Yes.
I'm gonna make one 38.
Same process.
Then I would restore it and rename it.
Right.
To 38.
Right.
37 is still there though, right?
Yeah, because 37 still has your students in it and everything. Yeah, you didn't change it.
That long list of after we just keep redoing it, but do we need to go ahead and delete those at the bottom? We're not using them anymore.
When you get to that point, yes. Like as a program, we might want to talk about how you want to manage that. I keep forgetting that Paula doesn't handle yours. So as you move students through a course, we want to talk about how to hide or delete those.
It sounds like it's a template. So I thought maybe they're just, we're gonna use that and then just keep using that template.
Yes, but then you're still going to have like 36, 37, 38, that kind of thing, all of those.
So the word reset is the same as restore.
No, reset is we're just using one course. My Comp 1, I taught it last semester. I'm teaching it this semester. I reset it. I clean all the students out. I'm using the exact same page. So
Restore then is.
a copy. Restore is a copy. You've made a backup of it, and now you've copied it, so there are two of them.
Okay.
And we don't need those.
We don't need those. Thank you, Sheree. And Sheree knows for gen ed purposes that we do not
So
need
we
those.
should not be doing restore, we should do reset.
You should do reset, yes. Now, if you have a course that you've only taught one of, but you're going to teach multiple sections of,
Right.
Bob and Modern World, or whatever it is that you teach two of sometimes, you know, you may make a copy and you'll have 2 sections. And some people that teach a course Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Tuesday, Thursday, those courses are designed quite differently.
Yes.
It's okay to have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday version on there and a Tuesday, Thursday version on there. That's all right.
And does the groups, like Bob?
Like Bob did. That was, I was gonna say,
Okay.
you can, how did you feel like that worked?
That was great.
Yeah.
Bob ran, what class was it?
Modern
Modern World. He had 2 sections of it and he ran them off of the same course page by forcing groups.
Oh.
And so he could view the assignment submission separately, the grade book separately, attendance, everything, right?
Oh, that's great. So you don't have to go to 2 different.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
if he the one
That's
thing
good.
that we were talking about is if he changes a link or adds a quiz or a reading assignment, if he just has to do it on one
Right.
page
It goes to everybody.
and everyone sees it.
But
So-
because the groups are already set, I mean,
Yes.
we just, when we enroll them into the groups.
Yeah.
So if there's no students, is the group already?
You still force groups and then you can do that. Because with yours, did
I
we
should know if that
do?
carried over or if that's something you.
No, you may
set
have
up
to
every-
check that again. Because when we did your groups, did we do the self-enrollment where I set up the code for them?
I set up code.
Okay, you
Yeah.
did that one. Carolyn's I did, and then we just copied her. So the students enrolled themselves in the course and the group at the same time.
Yep.
So if you decide you want to do that, Cherie and I have it practically mastered. And Bob, sorry, I didn't mean to leave you out of that. Didn't want to do that. Okay, so let me remind you of 2 things. The docking thing, where you click the little white and blue to move over to the left. Somehow, and sometimes, these are occurring and people are wondering where their boxes disappeared to. So if that happens, if you're looking for something that you usually see, like quick mail, for instance, and you're going, someone deleted quick mail off of my page. Who's been in my course? Look over here on the left first and see if it's there. And you can undock it by clicking on that, or you can undock all of them. I think, Nick, don't you dock almost everything of
I
yours
dock
because it
everything,
makes the center bigger? Because
I like to have everything docked up. Yeah.
it's cleaner too.
Does it?
Mhm.
Does it actually expand the middle? and
Uh-huh.
go down?
It does.
Ah.
Yeah, if you have editing off, right now I have editing on, so I have my add a block thing. That's the only one that shows. But you see how it went ahead and stretched all the way over to
Yeah,
the
I
right.
didn't know that.
See,
I might have to do
Does
that
that
too.
change your,
Just
However-
changes you,
okay.
not students.
okay. so
Students
we
are
don't
responsible
control
We'll be able
what
to
This is
control
your own.
see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
students
yeah.
can do their own thing.
Students dock and undock at their own will.
So like that
Sometimes at their own
calendar
risk.
and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
a lot of times
It
I
does
go in,
make
I
it bigger.
open all that stuff for them,
Yeah.
but that doesn't matter.
That was a
They'll
change.
They have to make that open for them.
No, no, no. No, like showing up on their page, but this, I'm just talking docking and undocking.
Okay,
So like if you undock it, it only undocks it for you. It doesn't undock it for them.
okay,
But if you've added it to the course and the eye is open, they're gonna see it.
okay, okay.
Yes,
I
Eileen.
haven't figured out why, but sometimes the compose is not there, and it's not docked, and it's not on the right side.
On quick mail,
Like, yeah, the compose email.
that's
So is that-
interesting.
Maybe it's only, maybe I've not enrolled anybody in that portion, but.
That could be
I
it.
guess that would be the only thing.
Yeah, that could definitely be it. If no one's in there, there wouldn't be anyone to send to. So check that next time, and if so, email me and let me know. All right, so I wanted to make sure I mentioned that, and then I want to show you our 2 big changes. So make sure you have editing on. Stop me at any point. I'm going to assume that you guys know what you're doing though. So you know how we're used to the 2 drop downs? We just have one now. It's
Oh.
add an activity or resource. All the
Nice.
activities are listed.
Wait.
Then all the
Wait,
resources.
I like that a lot.
Okay.
because
Okay, let me
I
go
wasn't
through
in
it.
my course.
No, that's okay. Is everyone in their course? His or her
Turn
course?
editing on.
Turn editing on, and then at your week, you know how you're used to 2 drop downs. Add a
Yes.
resource, add an activity.
Yes.
There's just add an activity or
All
resource.
right.
I like that better because it was.
You don't
I
have to
remember which one of these do I have to open up
Right.
to-
Yeah.
So let me highlight a couple of these, and then I'm gonna show you one. The assignment has really changed. Advanced forum is a new forum feature. When we switch to Moodle Rooms, they have this add-on that's called Jewel. And so there are a couple of benefits that we get with those, some reporting things, something in the gradebook that I'll show you in a little while. And another one is this advanced forum. It offers you the same forum types as a regular forum does, but it allows you to grade them in different ways. Now, not everyone's forum in here transferred as a regular forum, so you would have to recreate it as an advanced forum. But if you use advanced forum, you can sort by user, see all of their posts. I wish Alan was here, because Alan and Heather both have like tick mark sheets that they do when they grade.
But we used to be able to do that a long time ago.
Well, you can still on the participants page, but it shows you every post they've made to every forum. This just allows you have to choose advanced forum though. That's the only way. And so if you already have forum set up, you'll have to copy and paste all your content to an advanced. Okay, assignment I'll show you. Attendance and everything else on here still looks the same. The one thing, Turnitin is still a separate assignment type. If you've been using Turnitin over the past 6 months to a year, it's still going to work the same as it always has. Gwen and Tamara discovered the other day that we don't have checklist. So I know some of you might have been using checklist in your course. We have course completion, the little where they can do the tick marks or you can set it by the activity, but checklist, that box and everything, it's a third-party add-on. It's not approved by Moodle Rooms. If we want to spend the money to have it undergo review, it starts at $1,000, and then the price will go up from there. So I've asked Gwen, I've told her, if she and Tamara want to spend the money on it, then they can make that call.
We probably would, but
Right, but because we don't know.
Where'd you say the course completion?
We still have course completion.
I don't know what that
That's
means.
on the assignment, and I'll show you that in just a second. But the checklist was a separate little add-on.
Right.
So for any of you who are going to cry, I wanted you to cry now. Because it wasn't something that affected me, but it deeply affected Tamara and Gwen.
Well, that was really helpful for online courses
Yeah.
where there have to be self-directed.
Loved it,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Turnitin, like I said, still looks the same, still is a separate assignment, and it should be working right now. You will have to recreate your assignments that we've moved over. However, when you're resetting your course, there's a way that you don't have to recreate and that you can keep old assignments, and we can talk about, I'll have that in my reset video. So for those of you who are interested in that. Book still looks the same, file is still the same, and folder, most of you probably use label, page, and URL. Once you select your resource or assignment type, it's going to look like what it used to look, except with assignments. Okay, so activity resources are all on one. Yes, ma'am. That's a box that you add, a block. I can show that in just a second if you'll remind me. Okay, so let's add an assignment for those of you who add assignments. This includes offline, it includes everything. So they give us a nice long description here, but click in the bubble, click add. Top part's still gonna look the same. So you have to give it some kind of name. You have to give it some kind of description. I suggest instructions there. I highly doubt you're going to want the description displayed on your course page, because what that means is on the block on the front page, all the instructions are going to show. It could get way too busy on your front page if you start doing that. Okay, so that top part looks the same. Submission dates
like that.
looks the same. Show your description. Prevent late submissions. Now, here are a couple that can be problematic. Okay, so right now, I'm gonna uncheck this right here. If you require, we had this happen in a couple of classes this semester because this is a new feature. If you require students to click the submit button, this deals with when they're uploading files. It's not something they're used to doing. They upload the file, then they have to find a button that says submit to professor or submit to whatever. So my suggestion or recommendation is don't require the students to click the submit button.
Why is it even an option then?
Well, because before that, it allows them to edit their file and all kinds of things. But yeah, a draft submission is basically what it allows them to do.
Is the default no?
The default is no, but I wanted to explain it to them just because. The other thing, and I've got to see if I can make the default no on this, because I thought what this one is going to do is every time something is submitted, you're going to get an email.
Yeah, I
So
always turn
you
that off.
probably want to click
yeah.
no on that.
Oh.
If you have this prevent late submissions to yes, you should get an option right here where you can get an email about the late submissions, but my recommendation would be no emails. But if you do want one about late, you could do that. Okay, so that's not too different, but here's where the difference comes in. This is where you select, do you want it to be an online text? It's like the journal. Okay, so if you want it to be an online text, you
They
click
just type
yes.
into a box, is that
Yes,
what that is?
that's correct. Do you want them to do any file submissions? If you do, how many?
Mhm. Yeah,
And
that's-
then submission comments, this allows students to type in a little box about the files they've submitted if you choose to enable that. Okay? Now, for those of you who are not having file uploads, so you don't want them to upload a file, and you don't want them to type anything in a box, you just want that page to open up. We used to call those offline texts or offline assignments, just so there'd be a line in your gradebook. No, no, and no. And that's how you get,
Wait,
Yeah.
describe that assignment you were just talking about?
they were called offline texts or offline assignments.
I guess I
It's
never did
where it basically just, you know how if you had them do an online text or a file submission, you got the page with the drop down where you could put in their grade and leave comments in
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So if you gave a quiz in class on paper, or you were taking a participation grade, or you were taking up something that they did that they didn't upload.
Oh, I see what you're saying, because that way it goes to the grade book.
Yes, this way it
Got
gives
it.
you a line
Because
in the grade
before,
book,
you always had to add that in the grade book as a separate thing.
and
Right.
that's kind of a pain because then you're functioning in the grade book.
Right.
And
right.
so this
Okay,
gives you
good.
the
I didn't
same
know that was
exact
even an option.
page
Okay,
as a file submission normally would. Does
okay.
that make sense?
Yeah.
Carrie, I'm looking
That's
at you.
good.
You have your
I've
scientist
never
face
used
on.
it, so I
Okay, well then let's not talk
Yeah.
about it then.
I tried to do it.
Yeah, hold on a second, Tamara. Shauna, go ahead.
If you have that where everything is set to no, so you can put in your offline thing, can you still put feedback there that they can
You sure can.
access? Okay.
Yes.
You can put
put all the
feedback on the
submissions to
offline
no, but the
content.
feedback to yes, and then that you can give them online feedback on their offline assignment.
Yes, you,
Yeah.
yes. So, well,
That's cool.
that would be
Yeah.
feedback comments down here under feedback settings. So you would make that yes. So everything here is no, and then this is yes. Tamara.
If you're having them upload multiple files for one assignment.
Yeah, so like you may have 3 files.
Right.
Mhm.
Do you have to go up to the top and make them click that submit button, or are they still gonna see the send for marking? I haven't looked at that yet.
My understanding is by getting rid of require students to click submit, we're getting rid of send for marking.
Oh, that's good, because that's been confusing.
So we
Right.
need to change that.
You need to make sure this says no. But on any existing assignments,
Oh, really?
I mean, yeah. Okay.
I guess I just don't understand the file submissions. When is it no and when is it yes? If they're just uploading a Word document.
If they're uploading a Word document, then you're gonna say yes to file submissions and how many you want. But if you just want a box on the page they can type some paragraphs in, then that's when you would say no. Dr. Petit.
Does that affect when you're having to do multiple drafts on Turnitin? Is that a
Turnitin is still its own separate thing that's kind of a pain when it comes to multiple
a
drafts.
big thing?
Uh-huh. I was trying to be nice.
So could you,
I agree.
so could you do the same thing with this?
This,
Or does it overwrites the past?
if you could do that, but the grading in this is not as good as with Turnitin, and it's not tracking their originality report at all. So it wouldn't, this may be, like I had an assignment this semester in my tech comm class where they turned in a copy of a job they wanted, their resume, and their cover letter as 3 separate PDFs. So I had 3 file uploads here. They
So
uploaded
that's
each,
3 different
yes,
things.
under your
Gotcha.
instructions. Eileen.
Size upload.
You can choose, it goes to,
Right now it's 500.
which is
You can
probably,
change it?
yeah, you can change it. You can control that.
Okay.
Whatever you've set your max at your course on, you can do that here. Grades still are at 100. If you have a rubric, and we are probably going to have to try to do a rubric training in here within this next year, because you can add rubrics in the assignments that work really well for like the online
That would be
text.
great,
Um,
yeah.
I haven't done much playing with the checklist yet, but most of you are probably going to use, like me, simple direct grading. If you already have your gradebook category set up, you would do that there.
What is direct grading?
Just our regular thing where we get that page
Where
and
you
we
get
click
that-
on it.
You can like put a number in and then you put comments.
Yes, yeah, the thing that we're used to. If you're doing groups, and then this is when I was talking about the completion tracking earlier. This is, you can set up a whole, like you can set up your course with two components that are controlled here. This allow access doesn't have anything to do with students' submissions being late. What this is saying is when can the student see it and when does it close it out? You are better off, unless you're setting your whole course up with that, to just use this right up here, because then it goes away. Like they may submit their assignment and then in 5 minutes it's gone. They can't even see the link to go back to that assignment if you've cut off their access to it. So I would suggest that unless you're setting your whole course up with that, you use these assignment settings to control their dates for submissions. And then the completion tracking that we mentioned earlier, if you are doing some conditional grading and they can't get to the next assignment until they've met these criteria, you can set that right here.
So
Yes, sir.
the set of dates up there.
Yes, sir.
Should they match the ones below?
I
But
ignore
don't-
these below.
Don't put any in there, yeah.
Just do them up
I
there.
did that accidentally with some Turnitin assignments when we first
Right.
started being able to do that, because I thought that was the
Right.
turn it on, turn it off thing. And yeah, like you said, it disappeared. I had panicked students emailing me going, where's the link? And
And they can't get back to see their feedback.
right, and so
So-
I've learned just not to mess with that.
Yeah, the way most of us run our courses here, the restrict access is not something that is helpful. I'm gonna click save and display. You can do save and return to course, but I just want you to see this page is going to look a little bit different than what we're used to. We get a lot more information on this page now. So if I had typed out instructions, they would be here. I have 10 people enrolled in the class. I can see no one has submitted. And so there's no grading that needs to be done. If I want to, we're used to going up here, but now it's below this box, view, grade all submissions. So that's going to take me to a page that I should be used to seeing. Here's the difference. This is the quick grading page, and you may not have quick grading enabled. In the system transfer, you may need to recheck quick grading to get this option. We're used to a drop down. We don't get the drop down now, we just type in a number.
Faster anyway.
So you can type in whatever they made. So I'm going to say 98. And
Have you noticed, is that pretty accurate, typing it in?
yes. Yeah, Jody and
For
I were
some
messing with
reason-
it.
The 70s,
Yeah, didn't know.
yeah, I will type in a 74 and it will come up and say 72 and type it in again and it'll
Yeah,
be that one number.
That drop down.
Really?
Yeah, it was random, but
Yeah. So once you're done, you see the Java update, but you still want to go ahead and
So you just put it in and click enter. You don't need to do anything else?
yeah, you
Do
just put it in.
Do you have to save the whole page?
Stay on this page. Okay, when you go down to the next one, yes, what you're gonna do down here, save
Yeah.
all quick grade changes.
Right,
Okay, two things that I wanna say. The first one is, I would suggest that as you put some in here and you type your feedback in here, every few you save. Because if your computer shuts down or your browser crashes, you lose all your comments, 15 students in, you're gonna be really mad. The other reason that you're going to be really mad is if you switch to the next page, because it does not save. So what I typically do is I open them all on one page. So if I have 30 students, I show 50, so I can see all 30 on one page. Yes, ma'am.
Does it still have a thing you can check where they give an email notice?
You know, I'm not sure that it does. That's not something that I use. So
the send notification button is what it's called before.
yeah.
You should have checked it now.
Okay, let me look.
And you didn't use now?
No,
I like that.
I want them to look in the gradebook on their own. Clearly, I'm meaner
Still reasonable.
than you people. No, I get
That was
plenty of
mine, that was
emails
mine.
of complaints. Don't you worry. Okay, last thing I want to show you all, and then you can ask whatever questions. Let me get my settings menu out here. The grade book. So if we click on grades like we're used to, we are going to see, just going to take a second, same thing that we've seen before. Okay, this works the same, got the same scrolling issues and all of that good stuff. Huh?
I do like that it freezes the student name.
Yes, but clearly that's not enough for Rhonda.
That's okay, I have several issues with Moodle.
Okay, so it's not
Well
just this.
documented.
You can still click and see. It doesn't pop up like it used to, but you can still click on that little
Just the
icon by the
students.
student's name
Yeah, I like
just to
that.
see theirs.
I like
Okay, so this is user report. The big one is grader report. And now we have the option for Jewel Grader, and you can get to it from here if you're in the traditional gradebook, or when you're in your course administration menu, it's its own link, Jewel Grader. So Jewel Grader actually offers us some really cool options. No, I'm sorry, I wanted it from the gradebook. That takes me to the assignments that I want to grade. So when I'm in the gradebook, that's where I need to access it. Jewel Gradebook. So in some ways, it's going to look the same. The first thing it does, though, is you need to note the first difference is that it's just going to show student and their course total.
That's
So if you have categories, you would then click from your categories. If you did this like sum of grades or simple weighted, you have to click to show all uncategorized items if you want to open up the whole grade book. And I'm going to show you why you would want to do that in here.
So if you want to just look at the total of one category, you can, they'll all be listed there. You
Yes.
can scroll down.
You could
Okay.
click writings and it would show them and that category. Okay, so Jewel Grader actually allows us to do some pretty cool things. So you'll see these, they look like little lines. Let me get in my column. Hold on just a second. I don't know why it's not giving me my column options. Well, it's updating, so just a second. You can pop a column out so it shows up. So like if I'm clicking on sample quiz, it's going to pop out of the gradebook and just have the students' names with the assignment beside it on front. So you can just go down and enter.
That'll be.
And the other thing that's great,
Oh.
okay, so you click on the little lines and I'm going to click column grader. So it's going to take a second. So I can go down and enter this. This is what I like for forums though. If you guys use forums, any empty cell, make it a 0.
Oh.
Nice.
Because for forums, that's been kind of a pain in the past. So, and then so I enter all my stuff, click save. Now, you can add feedback if you go back into the grader report, but if this is just something you're just entering some numbers on, that's a really nice option. I want to show you another option that this allows us to do. Hold on just a second. My gradebook is updating or something. Here we go. Okay, so when I'm in, like if someone hasn't completed the quiz, I could click message to incomplete.
Oh.
And I
wow.
type in and I say, you haven't submitted this assignment, turn it in right away. Or, and I don't even have to look to see which students. If I want to send to students in a grade range, I do that range. So if they have a 0, like this assignment you can see is out of 10. So if they have a 0 to a 7, okay, I'm going to click save, and this tells me who it is. And if there's someone that I want to take off the list, I can, and I can just say, you either didn't pass or you didn't meet the university standard for this assignment. I suggest that you look back over it before the test, blah, blah, blah.
Do those go as blind copies or do they?
Yes, they go as blind copies.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that would have been ugly if they did that.
Yeah.
Little FERPA problem we would have had there. There was one more thing I wanted to show y'all on that. Oh, if this is a participation grade and you want everybody in the class to get the same thing because everybody was awesome that day, you
Nice.
clicked on change all grades in this
Yeah.
column, put the 10 in, You can even, if you've already entered a 0 because someone was absent or something, you can do that, click save, and it auto-populates. So, I mean, those are nice little gradebook tricks. You just have to remember to go to Jewel Gradebook for
That's a
those.
Blackboard grade.
That's great.
Yeah, but we can't afford Blackboard,
I know,
remember?
I know, I'm just saying, we've got it now for.
For a little bit.
For a little
That's
bit,
right,
yeah.
for a little bit. So, okay, those are the two main things that I wanted you guys to see. The benefits of the Jewel Gradebook, and then how the add assignment, add resources have changed, in particular how you add an assignment type. Questions for me?
Is this a Moodle upgrade, or are they still the same version of Moodle?
We're still at 2.3 or 2.2 point something or other. So we're not really changing versions. There's a version change coming within the next couple of months, I think. But what we really are happy with Moodle Rooms about is that we have an existing sandbox that the administrators are in, and they change it on our sandbox first, and we have 2 weeks to look at it and say, go ahead and change it on our main site, or you know what, this is too big of a switch for our faculty and students. We want to wait until the summer or Christmas break. And they'll only let us wait like 2 or 3 months, but they will let us wait until break, which is, I think, a positive. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Either I didn't figure out how to do it, or
Okay.
I couldn't, if I wanted to totally get rid of an assignment, just make it totally go away on the old one.
You had to delete it from the front page of the course. So if I'm on the front page of the course,
Okay. But it always showed up when I did, when you have all of your assignments listed.
That's, if you hide it, it's always going to show up. But if you come here and you click the X to delete it,
Right.
it should go away. If it's still showing up, we have a problem and you need to let me know so I can look at it.
You have to go out of the course and back in.
You shouldn't have to, no. If I click this, because this is just a test, so it says, are I sure? Clearly I need a summer break. My house burned, people. Am I sure? Yes, I am. So I'm clicking OK, and it just goes away. So it shouldn't show on my resources any longer.
Okay.
Oh, I'm glad, Dr. Poteet, while you're pontificating on that, I want you guys to notice there are 2 pencils here. This first one is my favorite. If you click that, you get to just change the title, which is so nice.
Oh, yay!
See, this is why I love working with you people. You might get really mad at me during the semester, but when I show you teeny tiny little things, you're happy about them, and that makes me happy. Because this way you don't have to, especially with Turnitin assignments, because Turnitin, you have to cycle through 2 pages. With this, you just click your little pencil to edit the title, and you are good to go. The second pencil edits the actual assignment like we're used to.
Do the adding a Turnitin assignment, does that basically work the same way it did
Yes.
before?
You
Nothing's
just
changed.
scroll down past
And
assignments
it
to turn
still
it in.
has the
Yeah.
due date setting
On
on a
the second
completely
page.
different page than it does everything
It
else.
does. I know. It does.
Michelle,
Yes, ma'am.
Someone asked me yesterday if the Jewel gradebook and the other gradebook communicate, or if they have to grade completely
No.
in Jewel or completely.
No. They're the same. They're
Right.
together all the time. Yeah. The Jewel group, that's a good question
So
though.
you can go back and forth between
Yes,
them.
you can toggle between them. Yeah. And it's just, remember, when you're in the grade book,
Why would you not just use one though?
well,
The benefit or the,
if you, like, my auto default is always going to be to go to the grader report just because that's where I've been going for so long.
right?
And it allows me to see everything all at once. Jewel, though, if I'm going to enter any assignments or I want to look at a cleaner copy of it, if I'm going to enter any grades in the gradebook, I'm only going to do that from Jewel. If I want to communicate with students who maybe didn't submit something or whatever, I can do that from there. Yeah.
Now, also, are you going to show, you were talking to me the other day,
About what? I've talked to you a lot.
about the Turnitin assignments and the directions and things like that. You were saying
Okay.
you were going to do a
I can-
page. I just wanted to see if you already had one set up. Or
Oh.
something. Where exactly you put that right underneath that assignment?
Yes,
or
let me
is it
show
at the
you.
bottom?
Okay, for those of you that use Turnitin, because we have struggled, let me see if I can find, because we have struggled for so long, I don't know if I have a sample.
You turn it in, does it, you have on the Turnitin page?
No, you can put it in the gradebook if you want. You can do it either
I
way.
didn't find it showing up there.
I've had serious problems with it
It
not
won't,
transferring.
it doesn't communicate backwards. Like if you put it in the gradebook, it won't communicate it back to Turnitin. But if you put it in Turnitin, and you may have to open an assignment and close it 2 or 3 times to get the page to refresh. But once it refreshes and the grade shows up on the actual Turnitin submission list, it should, for everyone but Rhonda, it should communicate.
I tell you, this is one of the problems only I have apparently.
It does
Take a little bit of time.
It does. It
Have
does
you had
take a
that
little
problem
while.
where it
And
doesn't
what
show
I
up in the
did
grade book?
Was just put it in assignment and make a separate thing.
Oh.
With the grading.
Just
No,
go
you
straight
can
straight
just-
into the gradebook
You
and put
can
it
just
in.
go ahead and like, replace it should be, but it's not showing up. You can put it in by hand, but it doesn't.
Sheree, I don't know that I have a course on here, but what I usually do
But what I was having
is
this semester
have
is
2
certain
options.
grades were going
You can
over and certain
have
ones
an
were not. And so it
assignment,
wasn't all
but
one,
like
just
right there, you
all
have
the
that
others.
submit
That's my
extra
problem.
credit number 2.
Some would go and
Right.
some would.
And that's
So-
what I'm trying to figure out.
so my instructions are that page right there.
It's because.
Those are my instructions,
I have
and then I
Michelle's
just have the
feedback.
submission link
Right there it
underneath
is,
it.
extra credit number 2, exploring modern
Uh-huh.
storytelling. That's your
That's
directions
the
for
directions
that.
for the submission underneath
Right.
it.
Okay,
So you can do that, or what I now do on my other online courses is I have, or even my other courses, I have make TII with the title, have all my instructions in there, so then the students don't have 2 links to look at. And then when it's time for me to teach that course, I just close the eye on that, create the Turnitin assignment based upon that. And then even if I lose Turnitin, I'm still gonna have the instructions, the point value, and all of that.
Right,
and
so
that
every time you
page.
reset it, so yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was going in and saving that to a Word document.
No,
and
you don't
having
have to do that.
remember to go in.
Where it was, yeah,
take
no,
that
you don't
back,
have to
so-
do that.
for all
So
of
for
them.
some of your courses, it may be worth it to have the 2 lines like this. I just don't like that because I don't like students to have 15 links that they have to click through.
Right.
But that's completely up
So
to
you
you.
actually go in and put those directions
On
into
this,
your.
on my 2 extra credit assignments, I don't.
But I mean, in
On all the
normal
other ones,
you
yes.
go into your Turnitin
I
then
do.
and paste those in there, but you still have your note to
I
yourself.
just
and you
close the
type
eye.
it.
Yeah. I just
Wait,
close the eye.
so,
That's good.
say that again, so you.
What I normally do is I don't know why I don't have it on this course, but I have a page. I created a page, and the title of it is Make TII with the title of that page. And then I copy in all of my instructions in there, and I close the eye on it. It's my note to myself. So the next time I teach that course, I create a Turnitin assignment there, copy and paste those instructions and that title into the Turnitin assignment. So then even if I lose the Turnitin assignment, I always have that page with my instructions
She didn't
on
have
it.
to go search through her files to find.
I guess I just do the 2. I don't understand
It's
why
okay to
this
do
is
the
hard.
2. It's not that it's hard, it's just that I have enough links already. It's just a personal preference thing.
Well, I don't like having 2 links. I wish there was
Yeah.
a way to put them together, but I've never figured that out.
Well, that's why I have that
Yeah,
page
I
that I keep
understand.
hidden, and then I copy the instructions into the Turnitin assignment each semester. Yes, ma'am.
You still, I assume, move the whole week, like sometimes we switch weeks, like week 5 we do this and week 4 we do that.
You sure can right here.
Still
To
same
the
thing,
left
but-
of the date is a little cross that's blue. It's a weird
Yeah.
color because it doesn't really stand, but you can still drag and
Yeah.
drop it.
Oh, that's
And
right.
then I just have a question in general. Do most people, like, if class night is February the 24th, like
Mhm.
for me, I might, February 24th is class night, so I might use those dates, 18th to 24th, to show that this is all the work we're doing the week before.
Right.
Do other people do that?
In programs, they do. In traditional courses, I suggest that we run them from Monday to Sunday, just because otherwise students get confused. But programmatically, because when they start out in Bridge and professional studies, they're run that way, Tuesday to Monday or Wednesday to whatever. They're used to that.
But if you set the course up that way, doesn't it mess up the attendance? Like say your class doesn't start till Thursday of the week, but you say the week starts on Monday.
No, you set your attendance dates yourself. You just can't have any attendance dates prior to the course start date.
Okay.
It's too bad that you can't just have one date there instead of the whole week.
I know, yeah.
But I guess it does have traditional.
It does help traditional, and it helps professional studies some too, because they
Yeah.
can keep up with their dates.
Yeah.
Any other questions for me?
Okay,
Yes,
on
ma'am?
attendance, wasn't there gonna be something about attendance where we were gonna be able to send emails to the students or something?
We're working, okay. The idea is that all freshman courses will be required to take attendance. The suggestion is that everyone does it
Through this system.
through this system. And attendance is going to have to be aligned in the gradebook. Well, you just saw from Jewel, we can set up a rule that if the attendance falls below a certain amount, then
Okay. So the email would go through the gradebook, not, I thought it was
Yes.
gonna be a separate thing.
we did too.
Okay,
That's nice.
Yeah,
but what if you're not including attendance in your grade?
I don't either. I put it in a separate category
I
that's
do.
worth 0.
But you can still do that,
Mhm.
but it would still
Yeah, because-
communicate with them.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's not going off the category total, it's going off the assignment total. So you're still gonna have to assign 100 points to it, but it's gonna be in a category that's worth
Right.
0.
Right, and you can put it in uncategorized, or we
That's
still doing it in
exactly right.
categorized. So,
Yes.
okay, I see.
And so it's gonna go off of that column rather than the category total.
Okay.
It would be a lot easier if we could have them, like have barcodes tattooed on.
Sure, and they scanned themselves as they came in.
Or
I
you have a
agree.
gun and you just point it
Shoot
in
it
a
from
class
the-
and scan, everybody's here.
That's right. Or like my
Huge
dog,
barcode.
shit, my